Hello, Narnach here. Welcome back to Path of Exile. We're playing in the Abyss League as a Hardcore Inquisitor Templar. Last episode we completed the Labyrinth, so now we actually have a slightly more advanced title. We went to Inquisitor school. In this episode we're gonna kill kings. Gonna kill the King of Fire and the King of Swords. So, first up, King of Fire, Mr. Kaom. So this is a level 37 area, I'm 42, so I'm slightly over leveled, but not as much as for the Labyrinth. And this is the episode where we can actually try out all the lovely little things we won from the Labyrinth. And one of those is, of course, Consecrated Ground. It will be more or less a constant companion now. And especially when there's lots of enemies that want or need to be killed, chances are pretty good I'll be raking in the consecrations. And funny thing is, it seems like the consecrations spawn at where I make the kills when I kill things, rather than at my feet. So that's an interesting thing to consider. You can't simply stand in place, kill enemies at a distance and always have Consecrated Ground at your feet. It seems like I will need to go out of my way and actually go after the enemy. It's something that is useful to pay attention to. We got a 30% chance to spawn a Consecrated Ground whenever I get hit or whenever I kill something. So there are two different kinds of Consecrated Ground. And we're always getting the Silver Flask effect of 40% increased damage. I haven't found a Silver Flask yet, so I can't double check yet whether the bonuses stack. But I'm assuming they do, because they are two different sources, even though the numbers are the same. Well, for now, all we're getting is a small damage bonus. Well, small, 40%. I don't really have a lot of bonus percentage bonuses to increase damage yet. So 40% is actually a not insubstantial amount. And of course, whenever I'm out of energy shield, the 6% increased life regenerator per second bonus is gonna be pretty nice as well, to keep my life nicely topped up like it does here. Once we complete the cruel trial, which admittedly it will take a little while still, but once that does happen, we will also benefit from energy shields and mana regeneration at 6%, as well as elemental immunity. Or elemental ailment immunity, that is. Not complete immunity, that will be a little overpowered. So that is definitely something to look forward to. Until then, we are taking our lovely little Nycta's lantern over here and smashing a face, and I think this might be where our Bodyswap is hiding. And I don't think he is gonna be all that excited to see me. Exactly, he didn't even summon his arms, claws, tentacles, talons, tail? Not entirely sure. Oh, hello there, Torch Oak Grove. And even here you can see I can just stand and tank the little bits of damage that they managed to do before they keel over. Which is pretty nice actually. It does allow me to push a little more aggressively than I might normally do. Especially considering my damage output at this moment is pretty insane. Oh, it's actually nice, the Consecrated Ground. That was pre-spawned by one of the kills, I suspect. It's a nice marker to actually go towards. So if it does work as I expected it to, so now the defensive Consecrated Ground spawn on you, the offensive ones spawn on enemies, then killing enemies ahead of you and then simply walking to a pile of corpses and then going from there. Seems like it's a pretty decent strategy. That way, no, the path is just marked ahead of you. And since I need corpses for most of my things anyway, that's not really gonna be too big a deal. So for now, just a single cremation in the middle of a pack of enemies is pretty nice. And if that coincides with being roughly close to me, then all the better. Oh, hello there. Here. You're gonna have a blast. Pun very much intended. So now the cremation, if it's relatively close to you, you can almost consider it to be like a defensive cremation. No, defensive area control. And then the volatile dead orbs are simply just a means of expanding your influence, or the going after things before they become a threat. Okay. I'm happy all the uniques in the area are already dead, or at least the guaranteed uniques. Means we're not gonna accidentally run into them. Okay, that was... it actually doubled back. Oh. Hello there. I don't think I like you very much. One thing to keep in mind, using mind over matter. So as such, my health is currently regenerating, but my mana does not have that protection, you could almost call it. Ooh, there's a lot of stuff exploding there. Let's just quickly hide items and see what is happening. I think the enemies are gone. Cool. So my mana will be draining, but I've got a Sacred Mana Flask which generates quite a lot of mana for this point in the game. It's 660 mana, that's almost as much as I actually have in total. So that should stack up. Oh, let's not pick up that one. I see dagger, I think it's a small thing, and then, yeah, I overlook the axe part. Ceremonial Kite Shield is actually a very nice one to upgrade into. For the rest though, we'll ignore it. So let's backtrack a little bit. There's a couple of enemies still about. Just backtrack the crack on the floor. Now, one of the goals is still to obtain a full set of armor that has 4 links all over the place. It's gonna take a little bit of time, but I'm confident that eventually it will happen. What's in here? Ooh, dual resist and a little bit of energy shields. It's no life, no strength, but it has potential. Cold resistance. And no, as usual, I'll just sort stuff in between episodes. I know some of you really enjoy me, watching me sort through and do some crafting, things like that. But for today, I'm not gonna do that just yet. Actually, on a little bit of a schedule here. For the I'm recording this on the 20th of December 2017. And know that it's Christmas is almost upon us, and I'll actually be out of town for about a week. Or for a week. So this is the last day where I'll be able to just record a bunch of episodes. So for the next week, all the episodes will be pre-recorded. Of course, I'll be reading comments and responding to those and things like that, but most of the episodes, they will be recorded in advance, so I'll not be able to respond as quickly to some of the comments as I otherwise might. But it also means if I don't manage to record enough episodes for the entirety of the week, then I'll just intersperse them a little bit, so there might be a couple of gaps. So now you know in advance that if there's gaps, it is simply because I'm spending my time celebrating Christmas with my family. Okay, all the gems probably wanna level up to 44. Yeah, exactly. And I'm only halfway there. It's one of the upsides or downsides, depending on how you want to look at it, for not doing a little bit of farming runs in between in a lower level area. You as a character gain less experience if you're playing in too low level areas. But the gems always gain full XP. So, no, the gems are a little bit ahead of me, which is nice. Now, whenever I gain a level, I'll simply catch up. I see an abyss up right, and I just want to find out how I can get there. Okay. Let the world burn. Slowly turning into one of those people. It's just fun in this game. Ooh. Corrupted with a bonus essence. I don't think I've ever seen that before. Okay, just put some corpses down. Curse you, and then we'll explode you. And you are gone. And it was actually one of the checklist encounters. That's even better. I like it when I complete the checklist encounters. Chromatic orb, that's always nice. And beset my totems. Let's just ignore you guys. So, level 38 area, so I'm only 5 levels ahead. You might have noticed skipping a couple more mobs than I usually do. I don't intend to keep this up, but at this point I'm just far enough off the curve that I just wanna move through and get to the point in the game where the enemies are a little bit more exciting to fight, or at least where the fight is more fair. That's doesn't have to be exciting, but at least it has to be a little bit fair. Well, maybe only like 2 or 3 levels over leveled rather than a full 5. Oh, Abyss went back. Okay, you are hexproof. That's why you couldn't be cursed. Hello everybody. Cool. Stygian Vice and an eye. And let's not go for pure energy shield armors. But I definitely do still want all the currency items. Because I know how easy it is to burn through, let's say, 100 or more orbs of alteration when you are doing flask crafts and things like that. And then we can push forward to the king. Whoop, dead end. Can we go some mobs? No, we can't. Okay, so then we'll just do the whole dance. Get you some corpses, get you some explodies. And then that is that. And yes, explodies is now a new word. Cool. Oh, hello, you are hexproof. Of course you are hexproof. Why would you not be hexproof? I would be hexproof if I could. It's a very nice trait to have. Oh, that's nice. Ghost possessing the totem, and then we explode the totem and we rake in the rewards. Like that. What's this doing? Additional items, revives nearby monsters. Okay. So one of the fun things you can do is summon extra corpses. And then, of course, those corpses will get reanimated as well. So just to crank up the difficulty a little bit. And after that, well, we just explode them again, because, well, we're pretty decent at doing area damage. And everything leveled up. I don't think there's anything in the build that really wants you to hold back your gems, with the exception of lovely little Arcane Surge, because that has a mana threshold, and Flame Dash, because it's a movement skill. You don't really want it to level up because it will only cost more mana. All it does is scale the damage, and I don't care about the damage of a Flame Dash. So we did get the goal of Tireless last level. So then next up down here we got Arsonist, which is tied to some fire damage, some life regen, and it sets us up to go towards the Marauder area. Over here we got Celestial Judgment, Celestial Punishment, and up here we even have now the way towards Faith and Steel, and after that even Purity of Flesh. I think for now our damage is doing pretty good, so it might not actually be a bad deal to just go for Faith and Steel, and after that Purity of Flesh, just to increase the size of our health pool. That is one of the nice things about now getting a relatively powerful weapon as a spellcaster. If you push your damage that much through the roof, you can actually shift your focus in the skill tree towards simply increasing your defenses earlier than you otherwise might. Oh, that's a scroll. Still at the stage in the game where I use every scroll I find. And there it is, Caldera of the King. Let's say hello. So we can just precast some things. 1, 2, 3. Curse you. Set aside, shoot, move, shoot, move, shoot. Oh, he's already dead. Yeah, it really was that silly. Okay, that was one king down, one more king to go. I might have noticed there has been no characters saying anything this episode, and that is of course because we are about to wander into Daresso's dream, and Daresso is one of those guys that just doesn't know when to shut up. So I just muted the character audio, so it's gonna be nice and quiet. See, wonderful, green text and no Daresso. First time I went through here in 2.0, I loved it. Second time, third time, I still enjoyed it, but it's been over a dozen characters since 2.0 launched back in 2015. And I'm just getting tired of Daresso. And there's no mute button other than just muting all of the dialogue. Okay, this the concentrated arena fights are definitely something different from the Kaom's area. No, Kaom is very open. There's a lot of fire damage. There are things happening there as well. But as a spellcaster, these arena fights, if your damage is not high enough, they might be pretty dangerous since there is a risk of getting overwhelmed. Whereas in Kaom's area, you always have a path of retreat, and here, no, you're locked in, so you can't always go back. And there's the second one. No, but putting a cremate next to a Decoy Totem, combined with just lots of Volatile Dead, there's no contest. The enemies simply do not stand a chance. Oh, and we're already gone. As I said, this is gonna be a much speedier playthrough now than before. Simply because we are outmatching the content that much. Dual Quicksilvers at this stage in the game is useful. Oh, hello there. I'll just take a slightly measured step backwards. And I think we already killed the uniques here, but still. pace to be careful. And we're just doubling back. That's a low tier life flask, so let's not pick it up. It might be high quality, but I don't really focus too much on picking up the quality low level flasks and making them into glass blowers bubbles. Mostly by virtue of most of the time you do end up with enough of those anyway. Okay, feels like we ought to get close to the end of the fight nowish. And there we are. Bakul. Yeah, no contest again, buddy. Let's stand in front of the exit here and move forward. Okay, next up, Daresso. Dead end. Aw, too bad. That way. Let's see. 1, 2, 3. And an arena. This is gonna be nice, actually. Relatively round areas, so a lot of more enemies will be in range of the Volatile Dead than usual. Level 36 flasks, that is the next step. I tend to prefer the level 42 ones as ones to focus on. So that's going to be early Act 5 when we get access to them. But no, their life amounts, they hold up pretty well into the end game actually. Okay. Oh, another rare. Well, not for long. Hey, you were hexproof, wonderful. It's a smart choice, but not smart enough. If you don't do full clears, suddenly the progression through the game goes much quicker than if you kill each and every single enemy. Oh, it's something everybody already knows, of course, but most of the time I do play with full clears since that's just how I play. If you're ahead of the curve, you can get away with skipping some. So no, the bosses there, they were the guardians of Daresso himself. So next up, the King of Swords. Corpses, decoy, cremate, 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 step aside, curse, step aside. Okay. So he's got these stages. I think the middle stage, yeah. If you can't kill him fast enough, then you can actually skip stages. But if he goes into his resting mode, then he will heal up to the health corresponding with the stage that triggered it. But in the end, even the King of Swords means nothing to me. And we unlock our way into the belly of the beast. Okay, so this is the quest that you really want to have completed because it unlocks new gems in town. So after killing both of the kings and opening up the door, it's always useful to go back, and there you get Ignite Proliferation. Interesting. Damage deals more damage with Ignite, and Ignite spreads. Could be fun to play with, but in this case, no, we're more about just dealing massive amounts of damage. Increased area of effect. There's no damage component to it. I think for Volatile Dead it is an area skill, and the explosion is also an area, so you could potentially replace the Conk effect with an increased area of effect while clearing to use Volatile Dead for just clearing out packs of enemies. And there is even potential to simply just drop Cremate from the build entirely if you want to focus exhaustively on Volatile Dead, especially if you want to run Volatile Dead in a 6-link on your body armor rather than, in this case, as a semi-4-link in Nycta's Lantern. But for me, it's not that important. Greater multiple projectiles. 4 additional projectiles is going to help you scale Cremation. Since by default it has 4 projectiles, if you attach it, you get 8. So it's like doubling the fire rate on it. So there is a way to increase its damage. But no, the cost is that the projectiles deal a little bit less damage, but there's going to be more of them. Then there's Multi-Strike and Spell Echo. And for Volatile Dead, I actually wanted to replace the chance to ignite with Spell Echo to get even more orbs in the sky. And if you have a look at the listed DPS 2000, up it goes to 2300. So, you will consume more corpses since you get 2 casts, so you'll consume 6 corpses per turn, per time, rather than just the 3. But more orbs means they can go off to different places, or they can simply hit a single enemy more often. And I think this is going to be a nice point to call this an episode. Both of the kings lie dead, and we are nicely set up to go after Malachi next episode and have a look at what Spell Echo is going to do for Volatile Dead, whether it is possible to go even faster. So for now, I'm going to thank you very much for watching, and I hope to see you again next time. Bye bye.